So with that, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Number 1. The day after Thanksgiving is the busiest day of the year for plumbers. Black Friday isn't just big business for retailers. Plumbers and drain cleaners get in on the action too. According to Roto-Rooter, the day after Thanksgiving is the busiest day of the year for those who keep water flowing and going in homes and businesses. In related news, they also recommend not pouring cooking oil down your drain. Number 2. Americans eat 704 million pounds of turkey every Thanksgiving. According to the National Turkey Federation, around 44 million turkeys were served at Thanksgiving in the United States in 2017. That's compared to 22 million pounds at Christmas and 19 million at Easter. The average weight of each, meanwhile, was 16 pounds, which means we're gobbling up 704 million pounds of turkey across the country. Number 3. The Butterball Hotline answers 100,000 turkey-related questions every year. Butterball, a popular turkey company, opens a turkey hotline each November and December to answer any turkey-related questions you may have. Founded in 1981, the Turkey Talk Line went from receiving a modest 11,000 questions that first year to answering more than 100,000 questions across the U.S. and Canada every holiday season. Number 4. Calvin Coolidge was given a live raccoon one Thanksgiving. In 1926, President Calvin Coolidge was gifted a live raccoon who was intended to be on the table instead of a turkey for the first family's Thanksgiving meal. He and First Lady Grace Coolidge weren't inclined to eat the masked creature, however. Instead, they adopted the raccoon, gave her the name Rebecca, and kept her as a White House pet. Number 5. Native Americans had many uses for the cranberry. Long other uses for the small red fruit. Not only did they eat cranberries fresh and use them as an ingredient in other foods, native communities also used cranberries to heal wounds and dye fabrics. Number 6. Female turkeys don't gobble. You probably relate turkeys with a gobble sound, but only male turkeys actually emit that call, which is why they're known as gobblers. Females and males cackle, purr, and yelp depending on the situation. Number 7. Frozen had the biggest Thanksgiving opening of any movie. Thanksgiving is a big weekend for movie releases, especially flicks the whole family can go out and enjoy together. As of today, the 2013 Disney animated musical Frozen is the #1 Thanksgiving release of all time, pulling in $93 million domestically. Number 8. Tofu is the most hated Thanksgiving dish. Sorry, vegetarians. In a 2020 YouGov poll, tofu was the most unpopular element of a potential Thanksgiving meal. Number 9. Jingle Bells was originally a Thanksgiving song. Jingle Bells, the classic Christmas song written by James Lord Pierpont in 1857, wasn't meant to be about Christmas. Originally titled One Horse Open Sleigh, the ditty was meant to be sung on Thanksgiving. When it was reprinted in 1859, however, the name was changed to Jingle Bells, or the One Horse Open Sleigh, and was prescribed for Christmas. Number 10. FDR once moved Thanksgiving up a week. In the midst of the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt moved Thanksgiving up 1 week in order to allow more time for shopping before Christmas. Otherwise, it would have fallen on November 30th. The move spurred intense was celebrated in October 1621. It was organized by Governor William Bradford of Plymouth, Massachusetts, to celebrate the recent immigrants' first successful corn harvest in the New World. While the meal lacked much of what is now common Thanksgiving fare, there's no record of turkey being served. For example, there were at least 5 deer carcasses present, and the event lasted a full 3 days. Number 12. The woman who got Thanksgiving reinstated as a national holiday also wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb. Sarah Hale is known as the mother of Thanksgiving because at a time when the holiday was only celebrated in the Northeast, she spent 4 decades campaigning for a national day of thanks. In 1863, she finally persuaded then President Abraham Lincoln to reinstate the holiday nationwide. In addition, Hale was also a successful editor and poet, penning the famous Mary Had a Little Lamb and retiring at the ripe age of 90. Number 13. George H.W. Bush's presidential pardon of a turkey was a joke of sorts. The tradition of U.S. presidents receiving turkeys as gifts can be traced back to the 1870s, but it was Harry S. Truman who became the first to receive one from the Poultry and Egg National Board and the National Turkey Federation in 1947. It was intended, perhaps, as a peace offering by the poultry industry after egg growers sent crates of live chickens to the White House labeled "Hens for Harry," an act of protest against the president's short-lived encouragement of poultry-less Thursdays. And though the Truman Library and Museum disputes that he was the first to pardon a presidential turkey, a murky tradition of presidents receiving but not eating turkeys began. It continued under the administrations of Kennedy, Nixon, Carter, and Reagan. In 1989, following this tradition, the first official turkey pardon was granted by George H.W. Bush, with animal rights activists standing nearby. The president quipped that this fine Tom turkey will not end up on anyone's dinner table. Not this guy. He's granted a presidential pardon as of right now. Number 14. of every October. The first to be nationally declared was held in 1872 to celebrate the medical recovery of the Prince of Wales. The prince had been suffering from a fever which had filled the minds of all loyal subjects with the deepest anxiety. And that's why our neighbors to the north give thanks. Number 15. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade balloons used to just be let go after the show. The first large-scale balloon used in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was Felix the Cat in 1927, replacing the earlier zoo animals that were used in the first 3 iterations of the parade. Because there were no plans yet for deflating the balloons, most were simply allowed to float away afterwards. Unfortunately, this strategy didn't prove very effective, as most popped shortly after being released. Number 16. About 50 million people watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade annually. Approximately 50 million Americans tune in to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade each year. Another 3.5 million people view it in person, and roughly 10,000 participate in non-pandemic years at least. And though the parade doesn't begin until 9 a.m. Eastern Time, many spectators arrive as early as 6:30 a.m., lining the streets of New York to get a spot along the route. Number 17. More people travel to Orlando, Florida than anywhere else on Thanksgiving. According to estimates by AAA, over 55 million Americans traveled 50 miles or more for Thanksgiving in 2019. The most popular of these destinations, according to Booking Info, were Orlando, Florida, closely followed Anaheim, California, and then New York City. Number 18. The original TV dinner was the result of a Thanksgiving miscalculation. In 1953, an executive at Swanson serving them to consumers as TV dinners. Thomas was apparently inspired by the pre-portioned trays used to serve airplane food. Number 19. More than 4/5 of Americans prefer the leftovers to the meal. According to a 2015 Harris poll, a large majority of Americans, 81%, prefer the leftovers of the Thanksgiving meal to the meal itself. Another finding: millennials look forward to the turkey portion of the meal less than any other age group. Number 20. Red wine is the most popular Thanksgiving tipple. According to a 2017 survey by the alcohol delivery service Drizzly, about 50% of households serve red wine with Thanksgiving dinner. Only 10% go with white. The rest are pouring something else, whether that's soft drinks, beers, or cocktails. Number 21. The turkey isn't to blame for your post-dinner slump. A widely accepted myth will have you believe that it's the main dish of the meal that makes you eager for a nap after you eat Thanksgiving dinner. But it's time to stop blaming the turkey and its tryptophan for your sluggishness. Though the amino acid does help your body produce melatonin, which promotes relaxation and sleep, turkey doesn't have any more of it than its poultry brethren. So why the immediate desire to nod off? Because eating a big meal, any big meal, makes you sleepy. Number 22. The first national Thanksgiving was declared by George Washington. The first national Thanksgiving was declared by George Washington and was celebrated on November 26, 1789. In his Thanksgiving Proclamation of 1789, Washington defines the day as a time to thank God for, amongst other things, protecting Americans and helping them achieve independence. Number 23. Turkeys are named after the country, the result of confusion about birds. During the time of the Ottoman Empire, guinea fowl, birds that closely resemble turkeys, were often imported from their native North Africa to Europe to be eaten. Because Europeans received them from Turkish traders, they referred to them as turkey hens. When settlers from the Americas began sending snapped, bestowing luck on the bearer of the bigger piece. Would you believe that this custom is thousands of years older than the holiday? Wishing on bird bones traces back to the ancient